Hello folks, my name's Mark. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the Lapidary Dungeon. Today we're gonna evaluate and figure out what to do with this rock. So then I found this big old piece and it kind of looks promising right there on the corner. I don't know if it's worth dragging to the camp. I don't know, it looks pretty good. It looks like it might be real good. Piece of Jasper. First, let's start with this giant thing down here that I don't know what it is. It's very large. And it has some interesting botryoidal formation right there. Now, is this wood? Or just host rock? I do not know. Something worth finding out though. So this is one of the rocks that I found out at Hubbard Basin, Nevada. And when I found it, you know, some of this botryoidal was sticking out of the ground, and that's what made me notice it and pick it up and bring it back to camp and ultimately bring it home and put it in front of you today and give you a closer look at it. Seems like all the other times I was showing it, it just kind of got quickly shown and moved on. Now, I don't know exactly what this rock is. You know, there's a lot of materials out there, and, you know, I'm not an expert. I don't think it's fossil wood at any point in its existence. I mean, it does kind of resemble a little bit like maybe a log that is flattened out a little bit and then, you know, squashed down. And, you know, if I look at it, I can see Jasper right there. All along here is, you know, some interesting looking Jasper. And, you know, a lot of this dark rock doesn't really look like Jasper. So, you know, it makes me believe that perhaps it's, you know, a little bit of crusty Jasper and botryoidal in this area, and then the rest of this is probably nothing rock. And so the question asks itself, what should we do with it? You know, it's just been sitting in the yard for a couple years right now. But I thought that there might be something interesting in the inside. So what I proposed that we do today is we'll cut it on the tile saw here. Cut off some of this bottom. Take a little nip off of this edge, a little nip, and then maybe another nip. See what's inside this rock, if anything. And then maybe the goal would be to create some kind of a display rock that perhaps stands up a little bit like this or something like that. I don't know. It all just kind of depends on what we find on the inside. And so we can do a couple cuts, and then maybe eventually we'll cut it again through this thick part. But I think I'd rather do that on the slab saw. So before this video is over, we'll be slabbing this, or not necessarily slabbing it, but cutting it in half with the bigger saw. You know, things could change. If I cut it open and it seems amazing and fabulous, well, then we'll have to reevaluate. All right, I've got the UV light here. Let's see if it's UV reactive at all. See if I can do this. All right, so I left a little bit of light on because this cell phone doesn't get a lot of low light capability. Now there's some green reaction in there. I'm not sure if that's like lichen or something in there. I think it's pretty clean, so I think it's you know, chalcedony or something that's reacting. And then the little blue dots, I think, is dust, cotton dust from my towels. Probably seems to glow that color. I tried to dust it off, but it didn't really want to dust. Let me maneuver the rock around a little bit and show you the other side. All right, so we got chalcedony glowing green, and I see, you know, a little bit of orange here and there. Let me turn off the other light and see if it looks any different. So you can see the chalcedony kind of shooting through the rock. And, you know, will it be much to save or anything to really look at? I don't know. We'll see. But that's what it looks like under UV. Not incredibly, I mean, it's not incredibly amazing. It's kind of cool, though. All right, this blade on the saw is a very thin blade for cutting valuable materials, and it would not last very long cutting this large rock. So we'll change it out to something a little bit more robust. This is a DeWalt porcelain cutting tile saw blade. 0.06 thousandths thick, I guess would be 0.06 thousandths. I don't know. Like a 0.04 is really thin. A 0.05 is kind of thin. 0.06 is a fairly standard tile saw blade, and 0.07, 08 are fairly thick blades. So this is a kind of a thick blade, but not too thick. So we'll just be cutting something like this, and might have to raise that up a little bit. All right, we got a first cut, and that's pretty much what I expected. Brown, nothing rock. And it's got a little stripe of chalcedony or whatever through it, but that's not very exciting. And it's fractured. All right. Let's cut another piece off of it just for fun, and then we'll take it out to the slab saw. Take a big chunk off of it. Got some fractures in it, but you know, it's interesting, but you'll never sell a brown stone, or at least not very often will you sell a brown stone. Not that this is for sale or anything, but just, you know, to quantify it or qualify it or, you know, classify it. So, you know, up in here it turns into Jasper. You know, that's the thing we didn't ever do, is we didn't ever look at it wet. Not sure that it really changes a whole lot to it. Now this material, it seemed like it was cutting pretty easy. Like I bet you I could put the finished cut on it with the tile saw, you know, across a diagonal perhaps, so that, you know, it sets like that. But I'd really rather have it set maybe something like this, right? So it sets like that with just a kind of a squarish on the bottom. But I think I'd rather it kind of set like this, you know, kind of more on an angle. And it's pretty thick where I want to cut it. So I think maybe we'll just put it on the slab saw. She's a little dusty on the outside and a little bit dirty on the inside. But this is my slab saw. 16-inch Highland Park with a 14-inch blade on it currently. There we go, rock in the saw. It's hanging down a little bit low, but kind of looks like it's going to be interfering with this flange, and I've hit that flange quite a few times. That's too bad. I can try to flip it over, I guess. Alright, I flipped it over and it looks like it's a lot better as far as the rock hanging down right there. Hopefully it'll be alright. Well, it shut off. Well, it's as good as cut as we can expect, I guess. Kind of interesting, but at the end of the day, it's a brown rock, right? Just a brown rock. Nothing too exciting. But that's kind of what I had it figured as, you know, a display rock, just something that could sit kind of like that. The bottom I'll have to trim off this little remainder, but that should be pretty easy to do on the tile saw. But I'll stick that in the kitty litter for a few days and then give it a good wash for a few days. And then we'll be able to finish up this video. there's our final look for this rock from Hubbard Basin. Cut a flat bottom on it in a manner that I think displays the Botryoidal Jasper, Chalcedony nicely. Fairly smooth bottom. Not perfect where I had to trim it with the tile saw, but that, I mean, it'll be just fine. You know what I mean? It just doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. For such a beast, I guess I'll go put this in my yard. Unless I can figure something better to do with it. All right, thanks for watching. Oh, there's more cuttings to come. I've got these other pieces from Hubbard Basin. Let me know which one you want to see cut next. Maybe some cast, limb cast, fossil wood. There's this black glassy rock. Lisa said she wanted to see that one. Ironstone maybe. Let me know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.